We have another question here. It is also a quadratic equation, and we have to evaluate it using the completing square method. So first of all, we can identify the coefficients and also the constant c. Solution. The coefficient of x squared is our a. So we say a is equal to 1. The coefficient of x to the power 1 is our b. So we say b is equal to -2. This -2. Then the constant c is the number without a variable x. In this case, it will be -7. To evaluate this using completing square method, what you do is, first of all, you get rid of the constant c. This constant is actually negative there. So for you to be able to get rid of this -7, you add -7 on both sides. Hence, we are going to have x squared minus 2x, then minus 7 plus 7 equals 0 plus 7. I said you add 7 on both sides. So we have added this 7 and that 7. Then this side on the right, on the left, what we are going to have, these two, they are going to cancel because this is a -7, +7. So it will be a 0. Hence we have x squared minus 2x is equal to 7 because this has become a 0. Then at this point, what you do is you add b over 2 to the power 2 on both sides. Remember, we added a constant 7 on both sides, but the next step is going to be x squared minus 2x, then plus b over 2 to the power 2 equals 7 plus b over 2 to the power 2. I said you add b over 2 to the power 2 on both sides now. Remember, we have already identified b. b is -2. So what are you going to have? You have x squared minus 2x plus, this b is -2. So you have a -2 over 2 to the power 2 equals 7 plus, this is -2, then over 2 to the power 2, like that. When you divide 2 into -2, what do you get? You get a -1. So you have x squared minus 2x, then plus this would be a -1 to the power 2 equals 7 plus -1 to the power 2, like that. -1 to the power 2 means -1 times -1. -1 to the power 2, even the other side, it will mean the same. So what do we have here? We have x squared minus 2x, then this one here, -1 to the power 2. So this would be -1 times -1, +1. So we have a plus 1 equals 7. This is -1 to the power 2. It will be another plus 1. So this becomes x squared -2x plus 1 equals, this is 8. We are not collecting the like terms at this point. You just write what is on your right. What is on the left remains the same way it is. Then at this point, focus on this number. What is the negative square root of this number 1? It's -1, because square root of 1 is positive or -1. Hence, we can consider this and write it in index form, so that we have, this is raised to the power 2. This one also, when we find its square root, the square root is 1. So write this one as x in brackets there, then minus, what is the square root of this? It's 1. So -1, then to the power 2, like that. At this point, do not write this -2x. You just say this is equal to 8. It's not that I've not written this -2x, it's there. Because if you can get this to say x minus 1 to the power 2, it's the same as x minus 1 times x minus 1. When you expand this, you are going to have x times x. It will give you x squared, which is this one. X times x times -1, it will give you -x. meaning you have multiplied this x by everything in those brackets. Then you go to this negative 1. Negative 1 times this x will give you negative x. Negative 1 times negative 1 will give you positive 1. At this point, these are like terms, so you can say x squared minus 2x plus 1. Is this not the same as what we have here? It is the same, just like that. So meaning that the moment you write it in this format, it is the same as that. It means that this negative 2x is still included, but it is not just appearing. But when you expand, it will still appear. Then at this point, what we want to do is to evaluate. So you find the square root this side and the other side, because this is to the power 2. We are using the square root because this is to the power 2. Hence we say square root of that and the square root of that. The root and the 2, they cancel. So what you remain with? You remain with x minus 1 equals root. This can be positive or negative, plus or minus root 8. Now, just from here, this root 8, we can still have this as x minus 1 equals plus or minus the 8 in the root. This 8 can be written as 4 times 2. It is still 8. I'm sure this 4 is a perfect square. What is the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is actually 2. So write that 2 outside the root. And this is going to be x minus 1 equals plus or minus 2 root 2. This 2 is the square root of that 4. This 2 is that 2 which is inside there. Okay? Then at this point now we want to find the value of x, so we can say x is equal to the negative 1 will go the other side, and you have negative 1 becoming a positive 1. So you have 1 plus or minus 2 root 2. Meaning that there will be two values of x, because this is a quadratic equation. So you have x is equal to 1 plus 2 root 2. X is equal to 1 minus 2 root 2. Answers can still be left like that, and it is correct. Like I will say, remember to subscribe so that you receive more of this information and will answer more questions coming from the same.